Jeez, bad studio lighting in this here 50-cent production with $2 studio quality. But priceless information and questions and discussion points. Isn't that nice? Who wants a lick? You want a lick? Who wants a lick of that? Not sure what to make of that. There's it there. I didn't have an issue there, but apparently I do now. Anyway, what do I want to talk about? Drugs are bad, and Kai. Now I've got questions. What do we have here? This. Where's my bad circles? APX paracetamol codeine, 30 milligrams. Oh, 30. It's less than 30 milligrams of codeine in those. Now, any time they've ever prescribed me endone, endep, codeine, Panadine Fort, they prescribed some of them stronger ones for when I had both my knee surgeries, arthroscopies. Yeah, here's a bloke. Hey, I've had an arthroscopy on each knee. I'm 52 in a couple of weeks. I've burnt the shit out of my legs and I still want to go back to work next year. So don't ever call me a bum. Now, drugs are bad, okay? What is it about those drugs? It seems the stronger they are, like the endones and endeps and all that sort of stuff. Who else? I actually want to know, like, in the whack some comments in. I want some discussion on this and some feedback. Who else suffers really weird, bizarre, dark, like borderline evil, if not evil, demonic, nightmares on those things? The other night, you know how many of these codeines I've had? I'll show you. Right, I hurt my knees, not Tuesday just gone, Tuesday before. So it's a week and 2 days. I've had 3. Yeah, I'm really a fiend for drugs, aren't I? I've had 3. Other than that, I've had a couple of Nurofen. Right. That was the fresh flight of Nurofen last Tuesday. I've still got some left. Now, what causes the nightmares? Why do I have such terrible nightmares? I mean, they're terrifying. And the only way I overcome it. So don't tell me that there's no power in it. You won't convince me now. Like, I'm done. I'm sold on it. The only way I could get to sleep so I was waking up every 10 minutes or so, like, fuck. Terrified, like waking up out of the terrifying weird dreams. They were weird, bizarre. I can't even explain them. But I know they were dark. They were fucking dark. What is that? Look out, here comes the cat. Well, you want snuggles, do you? I'm going to have to move some things because you crawl all over them. You know what you're going to do? You're going to sit down or what, puss? You're going to have to sit down. You come up here, you've got to sit down. You know the rules. Yeah, what is that? Like, I've heard of people having the same issue with medicinal cannabis. But they never had the problem when they just smoked a bit of the good old God's herb. God put that herb on this planet. Like, yeah, where was I going with this? That's right. The other night, the only way I could get any sleep without waking up, like, full on, sweating me guts out, fucking trembling and all. I can't even really remember what the dreams were about, and man, The only way I got any peace to get any sleep is on YouTube here. I put on uh, like someone reading the Sermon on the Mount, Christ's Sermon on the Mount. Somebody with a nice voice reading it. It's the only way I could get any sleep. It might have been an AI thing. If it was read well. It didn't sound very robotic. But as soon as I put that on, I stopped having the nightmares. Go figure. What? Put that aside. What is that? That's weird. A lot of people say they don't dream. I think that's a shame, because when you have good dreams, they're awesome. Sometimes I have dreams that are prophetic as hell. Well, yeah, prophetic as hell, prophetic as heaven, prophetic as whatever you want to call it. Prophetic. I have dreams that give me answers to things. Literally. I can go to sleep with a question in my head and wake up with the answer. It happens quite often. But as soon as I start taking these prescribed by my doctors, pharmaceutical drugs, it's always a hospital that prescribes these ones, not my GP. My GP seems to actually care about me. The hospital, it's always a hospital that prescribes me these weird drugs that mess me up. Worse than any recreational drug I've ever had. I don't get nightmares after... I've never had nightmares really after having ice or anything like that. And I'm not talking I'm having flashback dreams about Goose Dick hitting me in the head with his hammer or anything like that. Sometimes I have ones that flash back to my childhood of suppressed memories of my parents, ones that I don't want. But I've never... Yeah, it's... I'd like to know what they've done to THC, like to the good old herb. Because I tried some medicinal cannabis once, quite a while back. But man, I hallucinated just as much, worse. I was having bad trips off that. Way worse than I ever had than what I got like back in the mid-90s when I was dabbling with LSD and stuff. What is that? That's dark. It only suggests to me that maybe pharmacy is, what's that Greek word? It translates as alchemy. Let's look for it, will we? This is actually, it's, no one's ever been able to explain this to me, and it's pretty weird. Greek word for might be Pharmakeia, pharmacology, for pharmacy, Greek word for pharmacy. Go to there all. Pharmakon, meaning drugs, potion or poison, leading to Pharmakeia, for the practice often translated in the Bible as sorcery or witchcraft, but also referring to druggists or medicine now. Preparation, The modern pharmacy word comes from this root signifying the place for remedies. This is the AI overview, by the way. It automatically comes up. I don't actually participate with AI as a rule. Pharmakon, a fundamental word with a dual meaning of both a beneficial remedy medicine and a harmful poison or magical potion. Now, if you read the book of Enoch, it says that this was forbidden knowledge that was given to us by the fallen angels. Pharmakeia, the practice or use of drugs, magic or spells, often associated with witchcraft in biblical texts, but also the preparation of medicines. Alright, just add that bit on. Pharmakeus, Pharmakeus, I think I'm pronouncing that right. A person who prepares or uses these drugs, potions, akin to druggist or sorcerer, leading to the modern pharmacist. Have you noticed that all this pharmacy and pharmacist stuff has its roots in... Well, I've noticed it already. I've read this and heard this plenty of times in other texts and so forth, scriptures. Don't believe me. If you're into the new AI fucking bullshit, it's saying the same thing. This is just your Google AI overview. How it connects to modern pharmacy. While biblical contexts often emphasise the negative, sorcery, poison, the English word pharmacy derives from these Greek roots to describe the place where medicines are dispensed, reflecting the original complex nature of substances that could heal or harm. Okay. Now, you'll also find it somewhere in the scriptures where it says, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. So, it's also been proven, like when you see them little diagrams of what, say, LSD or ice or endone or cough medicine, their little picture diagrams scientifically, how they're represented that way. Where was I going with that? Yeah, how it's all just, yeah, that's right. They're the chemical, that's the chemical derivatives. That's the value, the chemical values, and how that's joined together in what order. I remember this much from science class, from chemistry. It's chemical. That's its chemical representation. It's molecular chemical values and structure in what order it needs to be in for it to become the chemical that it is, or drug or whatever. That's the formula. The end product of that, like, yeah. If you know what I mean, like the little hexagons and little Y shapes and right, little Y shapes and everything that's joined to it with the little numbers and letters. That's its chemical formula, made from chemicals, broken down chemicals. Now, I know that you can get that same formula in a natural form from natural grown plants, from nature, from the wild. Like, you can grow those things in your garden, and if you eat the right things in the right amounts together, it will have the same effect. And there are many things that come from like flora, natural things like I think it's is it aspirin or paracetamol, one of those things. It comes from the bark of, I can't remember if it was a birch or a willow. I think it was willow. It comes from the bark of a willow tree. There are many herbs and plants that they break it down and turn into cook up and turn into a powder form, mix it with chalk, and then we swallow it. Like pills are chalk bound. There's chemicals that are trapped inside a block of chalk. That's why when people shoot up dexamphetamines and stuff, the chalk-bound tablets, they end up with blocked blood vessels and varicose veins and so forth. It's chalk blockages. I know a bloke who's passed away now who was riddled with them. I won't say who. I'll say his name is Sean. Anyone that I know knows what I'm talking about. They'll know who I mean. And it killed him in the finish. But what's with the nightmares and shit? They're coming from a dark place, so obviously pharmacy comes from a dark place, doesn't it? It's the only logical explanation for it. I don't necessarily suffer nightmares like, but as soon as you put me, as soon as you put me, put me on one of these pharmaceutical prescription drugs, I start having nightmares, and I have also noticed that I get very, very short-tempered. Terribly short-tempered with them. I have no patience. So yeah, drugs are bad. Now I want to know is, okay, here's one, dexamphetamine and Ritalin. You know what they are, don't you? They're a form of amphetamine. They're just not methylamphetamine. They're ephedrine, an ephedrine amphetamine, or a pseudoephedrine amphetamine, which is why you can't get the Sudafeds and Codrils anymore like you used to be able to. They're now making a different chemical replica of it that can't be used to make speed, and methamphetamine. Ha! Did you know that? Dexamphetamine is a form of speed. So is Ritalin. But they've added blockers to it now, so you can't shoot it up. You got to swallow it. Yeah, I know a little bit about drugs. Who'd have thunk? Go figure. Yeah, Sudafed and Codril and the cold and flu tablets. They had the pseudoephedrine in them, and which was a chemically made version of ephedrine. So ephedrine exists naturally in some things, some plants and so forth. Then they created pseudoephedrine. And people used to use those to make speed, amphetamines, methylamphetamine. I'm pretty sure it also went into acid trips. You know, the newer versions of them, not so much the old Russian microdots. Yeah, there's a discussion on drugs for us all. My point is who's to say that those ones are bad and those ones are okay? It's like cigarettes are okay because we make a lot of money in tax excise off it. Alcohol's okay because there's so much money to be made off it. But you can't grow your own pot. There are plenty of people around. You can go buy your own brewery kit, your own distillation kit. You can brew your own beer, but you can't grow your own pot. Why not? Because it's so hard to tax. You see, when you brew your own beer, you got to buy a brewing kit. You got to buy the yeast and the hops and the sugar and everything. You see, the government makes money out of that in tax excises and goods and services taxes. That's the only reason. Whereas growing pot costs nothing to grow. As long as you got a handful of seeds, you can grow yourself some hooch. Some good old natural God's herbs. It's a damn sight better than that devil's lettuce you get at the chemist. It won't give you nightmares. So yeah, if you want to talk drugs, let's talk drugs. But be prepared to have a real conversation.